Hi everyone, it's Erin Lynch. With this week, I've been super excited since we got the materials in the mail for Module Three's water filtration inquiry activity. It's actually an activity I wanted to do with my students, but haven't been able to implement yet. If I would get to do this with my students, I would have them answer the question or ask themselves the questions: Can I clean this water? And in this instance, it's pond water coming from the pond by my house. And there on the right, you'll see the pond water in the mason jar with a little bit of grass clippings added to create some of that larger debris. In the Imagine stage, I would want students to think about Earth's natural filtration system, going from the humus down through the layers of the Earth, down to the unweathered rock or bedrock. In the planning stage, I laid out all of the materials, and this was the difficult part, was to determine which order I wanted to place the materials in our stackable filtration system. And then you'll see I started in that sketch with the cheesecloth representing the humus, going all the way down to the alum, and putting a coffee filter there to catch any of the smaller debris. The create stage, I created this short video just going through the materials again, putting them into the cups, and coming up with our final stackable water filtration system. In a couple seconds, I'll discuss what I would do differently next time once we watch the overall video. So you'll see I've got the alum, and then there it is all stacked together using the push pins to hold the cups in place, and as well as rubber bands to hold the cheesecloth and coffee filter in place. Here's a video of the actual filtration happening. You'll notice that the grass clippings were caught right away by the cheesecloth, but there is a mistake. I didn't put push pins in the alum cup, so you'll notice that the coffee filter and rubber band were not enough, or were not supportive enough to hold the entire filtration system, so it snapped, causing me to have to hold on to the filtration system for the duration of the activity. I noticed that the water went quickly through the cheesecloth into the gravel, slowed down a little bit once it hit the sand stage, and then it did take a while. Now you can start to see it coming out. It definitely looks much clearer coming through the last stage, which was the coffee filter at the bottom. One thing we didn't take into account was the amount of water we were pouring. Obviously, there's a lot more water in the mason jar than could fit into our tiny cup at the bottom. So I'll stop it in just a few seconds to show you that because there was just way too much water coming through, I had to stop it early. But you can see it's definitely getting clearer when it gets to the bottom. I'll show you on the next page. On the left, you'll see before we poured the water, here we are. You'll notice that there weren't any thumbtacks in the alum cup. Next time I would definitely put those there as more support, because the coffee filter is not enough. I would also pour less water throughout the entire filtration system. And one thing that I thought about was poking less holes. Maybe poke more holes at the beginning through the gravel and the sand. And then when it got down to the charcoal and the alum, I would poke fewer holes so that the water would flow more slowly through those stages, trying to kind of, that the alum stage have the different materials coagulate in there and maybe catch it more, because in the picture on the right, you'll see while it is clear, it still has that yellowish brownish tint to our final product. As far as the inquiry continuum, I thought overall that depending on how much the teacher provided, all of these stages could have been to the far right and the learner self-directed. But the teacher did seem to provide the question and the materials to the students, but that the students could also come up with some of their own new questions. The learner determined what constituted evidence and how they collected it. So as far as observations of whether the water was clearer, that maybe we could have had them determine in another way if they were effective or not. And then 3 and 4 all depended on how much was given to the students. So if the learner was guided in the process of formulating explanations, or if they were able to formulate their explanation by summarizing their own evidence, as well as what resources the students were provided with. Were they able to to look up their own resources, or were they provided with a list by the teacher? And then number 5, whether it all depended on if the teacher allowed the students to communicate and justify their own explanations, or if they were coached as far as being provided with prompts and things like that. And lastly, a little tidbit about this week's activities with my own students. I saw in Module 3 the solar oven s'mores, and I thought, what perfect timing, because we just completed this activity on Thursday with my students. You'll see their final solar oven finished products there, and 2 of my students eating their s'mores, and the one girl even said they were the best s'mores ever because they were cooked by the sun. So thanks for watching.